Hi folks, first proper bridging video between the induction and the first webinar. So I'm just going to have a quick run through of what you should do to prepare for Thursday. So a quick reminder, our first online session is by webinar. It's on Thursday morning at 9:30 until 12:30, and to access that, you get the Blackboard Collaborate link at the top of the left-hand menu in the FDOL Blackboard area. So hopefully where you're watching this video, actually, can I point to the right side? Oh no, it's backwards. So yeah, it should be up there, depending on where this video is on your screen. Anyway, what you need to do is, before Thursday, make sure you've worked through the tutorial slides for this first topic. So that's all in the learning materials folder. You want to work through that. That will take you about 80 minutes or something to work through, because there's quite a lot of me going through a few of the different papers that we'll look at over this week and then going into next week. And then there's a few videos supporting that as well. So you want to make sure you've watched that. You want to make sure that you've read the Digital Natives, Digital Immigrants, Mark Prensky paper, which is linked in the learning materials, and the Barnes and Tyne paper, Miranda in the Brave New World of University 2.0. I can't remember what the long term, I always just call it Miranda. So the Miranda paper you want to make sure you've read. And on Thursday, we'll have a discussion in the webinar about both these, and we've got some activities that will work through these as well. And also, as you're watching the tutorial, the final section of the tutorial is about a pedagogical approach called connectivism. There's not anything to read about that, but just make sure that you've watched through and you've watched the interview with George Siemens, and if you have time, watch the presentation from him at the end of the tutorial as well, because that's something that, as we lead into next week, we'll talk a bit more about connectivism. Connectivism will come up over and over again throughout the module. So make sure you've done the tutorial, make sure you've read those papers. There are some reflective questions that I drop in through the tutorial, and also in the learning materials folder. So I've actually just got them here. So as far as digital students go, in relation to the Miranda paper, you want to think about, who your students are as far as digital students. And if you think about like one of your students existing in that narrative that comes out in Miranda, them going through a day and the technologies they're using and how they're interacting with each other, have a think about what your sort of your average student, I'll say, but just like a student on your course, what the things that they would do, and just have a bit of a think about that, and then we'll lead that into one of our activities. Also have a think about the definitions that Mark Prensky offers for digital natives and digital immigrants, and just have a think about the sort of the pros and cons of having definitions such of them, and whether you agree with the definitions or not as well. And then having to think about connectivism, and what you think about connectivism. I know that you've got a couple of slides of me rambling on about it, so you're not going to get a really in-depth understanding of connectivism, but just at a surface level, what do you think about that idea of a new pedagogy that is about people connecting together online? So that's everything from me. If you make sure you've done that, one of the things we'll also do when we start off the webinar on Thursday is we'll do a quick activity about sort of, I'll call them rules of engagement on the webinar as well. So come prepared to have a little think about that, thinking about, what you want to do in the webinars, how you want to act in the webinars, how you want other people to act, and how you want me to act in the webinars as well. So just to make sure that we have a really comfortable environment on Thursday morning, that everyone can get logged in, everyone can, interact with each other, and that no one feels uncomfortable with it, or at least doesn't feel uncomfortable with each other. Perhaps you'll feel uncomfortable with the technology at first. Okay, so that's everything from me. I will see you on Thursday morning. Thanks very much.